Hello folks, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. And I think this is part number 7, where we're going to fix the pedal issue on the MGA because it's a very uncomfortable position, and also putting some paneling up on the passenger door. And if we are lucky, maybe we can start installing the lights if they arrive in time, and if not, it's going to be for the next video. Now have a look on how high these pedals are from the floor. This is very high compared to where the throttle is. So I don't like this too much because that's hard to drive. You actually have to lift up your feet to push the brakes or the clutch. So I'm going to install an aluminum panel right here so that reduces the height a bit. I could also extend the pedals if I wanted to, but I won't do that. I'm just going to have a new floor panel, a fake floor panel here. That will make it a bit easier to hit the pedals. I made a cardboard model where the foot will be once we are in the car, and as you have seen, these pedals were quite way up. So now all I need to do is fold it back open and then trace it on a piece of aluminum, and then I can actually create this model and bend it, and then we can fit it in the car. So that's how simple that really is. Just gonna put some tape up so it's easier to trace it. And I will add a little bit to it because I made a little mistake. All right, so now I'm just going to cut this, and then we're going to try to fold it. Now this is 1.5 millimeter aluminum, so that should be strong enough. So we got all the markings on the panels, and now it's just a matter of folding it. And I'm going to do this on the brake. I already have bent some parts, and I can't bend it any further, so I will have to bend it afterwards outside. But you can see how we are folding this up and down. This way, that's side is up, so that makes it a bit easier. You try to get it as accurate as you can. All right, and now we still need to fold this side, but that's a bit of a problem. If you don't have a brake, you can always use a bunch of some pieces of heavy metal and then try to bend it. And aluminum is pretty easy to bend. So all right. All right, so that's it. Now what we need to do is to put some enforcements in and enforce the corners. The box is now folded. I trial fitted. It fits in the car. I made an enforcement in the back, and I'll show you that in a minute. So now I'm going to lock that enforcement, which is a lateral piece of aluminum. I'm going to lock it in place with some rivets. All right, so I'll do a couple more, and then I'll show you the back side. And here is that support now all complete, and it's about ready to be installed. So I think this is going to be a really good help. All right, so I have pre-drilled some holes, so it's going to be easier to install it. So let me undo these bolts. And by the way, these are soft tapping bolts. Let's see if we can lock it in place. So the good thing about this is that so the throttle is good. Oh, the brake and the clutch feels a lot better. And I also have a support, so for my left foot, I can actually support myself, which is also a good thing to have. Now, of course, normally you don't drive with big boots like this. You don't. But this feels all right. I also had some initial plans to cover up the passenger side with an aluminum panel right here. And it has some advantages. For instance, it's going to improve the aerodynamics of the car, but also it's going to create an extra safety, so for debris getting into the car. But then again, I'm not too sure on this MGA if this is worthwhile the effort, because in some competitions, allowed to change the body shape, so then I would have to take it out. So if I were to do so, to create this panel right here to close this up, then I have to create one which is removable. So at the end, I decided not to do it. This is a fun car. We're going to drive it on the racetrack. I'm not into winning big prizes or anything with it. So this is more for fun, and I don't think this little bit of a difference in aerodynamics will make a huge difference on the car anyway, or at least not the competition I'm driving in. So I'm not going to do this. So as I'm not going to close up that panel in the top, I will have to put an aluminum panel on the side of the door. And for that, I'm going to take off the other side and use it as a template and then install it here. You might have seen this very interesting door lock. Well, we have to fix that a little bit so it's not going to stick through the aluminum panel. So for that, I probably will make a bracket on this side. We'll see when we get there. All right. So here we got this panel on the driver's side. I already undid some of those spark screws, and I just have one left. Let's take this out and take the panel off, because this is a perfect template. All right. So this being the part from the other door, I will just flip it over like this, and we can use it as a template to create the new panel. So I got a blank piece of aluminum here, and I'm just going to use the other panel from the driver's door as my template, and all I need to do is just trace around it. So for the small corners, I'm going to use my snappers. Sorry folks if I'm in the way. And then we can round them off a bit more. So I'm not going to keep you tied up with all this. I want to make sure that I cut it straight. Right. All right. So I guess that must be the panel now. So here's the panel that we have cut out. I already marked where I'm going to have the bolts, but I also want to mark it where it comes onto the door. So when we place it back, we know exactly where it's supposed to be. I tried to disconnect the hatch here for the lock, but it's a bit tough. So these old Phillips screws often have a bit of an issue because people slip out. So I will place this on the outside of the aluminum panel instead of inside. So we have a little hole on the side here where this cable is coming through to activate the lock, and I'm going to fix this on the other side. But first of all, I'm going to drill the holes to make sure the panel stays in place. So I found the best way to put these self-tapping screws in on the drill. That's number one. So I'm going to continue all around and then we'll fix this side. So the panel is in. The only thing left to do now is to fix this. But first I'm going to take some of that yellow paint off. Okay. So all that is in. That works perfect. So folks, we have come to the end of this video and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now it's going to take a couple of weeks before I'm going to create the next video because I have to build an aluminum gas tank for this car, which we will install in the boot. We also will have to do some work on the lights, and this is easy stuff to do right here in the man cave, as I call it. It's sitting here nice and warm and very well protected from the dirt and the dust. So for now, that's going to be it. But keep watching because in one of my next videos, we're going to dig even deeper into the ECU series, the one that I started. And the good news is as well that by the end of this year, I will be retired and I will have plenty of time to work on electricity and on the house. Bye-bye.